Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V, where we are intentional about connecting you with entrepreneurs that have overcome and can provide value to our audience. It's Dr. V here, where our coaching program teaches nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money and building in their own time. And our featured guest today is my friend, Cierra Keaton. So, Cierra, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I want to ask you to describe who you are. Like, if someone had to, like, you had to put your bio out there in words, describe who you are.
Well, again, I'm Cierra Keaton. I if I had to do, a quick pitch, I'm a cannabis nurse educator, coach, and consultant. And I am a woman who has overcome every boundary and every roadblock that you could think of to get where I am. And so my purpose is to let others know that they can do that too. For the long haul. I've been a registered nurse for over 15 years and in healthcare for 19. I worked as a CNA as I went through nursing school. I am founder of Keaton Consulting, and we are an educational firm that is geared toward educating the communities, healthcare professionals, and healthcare professionals and clients about alternative wellness solutions specializing in medicinal cannabis.
I love it.
I'm also founder of Balance Relief, and we are a CBD and wellness cannabinoid company. We provide customized high CBD products with the power of the cannabinoids and terpenes. And last, but certainly not least, I am owner of Relief Wellness Spa. And we are the first Black-owned medical spa to offer CBD infused therapies with their own brand of CBD products. And so, super, super excited about
Well, you better do it. You better do it. I love it. I love it.
that.
So now we're going to start kind of back because, we as nurses, we go into nursing. We don't go into nursing with the thought. I don't know if you did. Did you go into nursing thinking that you were going to be an entrepreneur? Okay. So you didn't go into nursing thinking that you were going to be an entrepreneur. So tell me, because you own Clubhouse the other night and you talked about you were something happened with one of your jobs. So tell us about that, where you that was the switch that turned it on for you.
So, and I was just thinking about this in my head. So I got geared toward entrepreneurship because I was living out in California, right? And I had hit all these check marks, right? I got a career, I got a husband, I have a baby, and I was looking around and things were not together. And all I could think about was, I didn't sign up for this.
Now, when you say things were not together, explain that.
Just living paycheck to paycheck,
Mm,
unfulfilled, you
okay.
know, just motion, just going through the motions and I'm an emotional person.
Right.
So I just kept saying, and people were offended by it, but I didn't know any other way to say it. Like, I didn't sign up for this. This may be okay for you, because that's what it was happening. I was talking to others and they were looking at me like I was crazy.
Wow.
You aren't satisfied? From the
Wow.
outside looking in, you have the perfect life. Well, I'm glad you think that, but maybe I want better. Maybe that's just who I am and what's instilled in me, but I'm not okay with this.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. It took you less time to learn that than it took me. Okay. I mean, it took me a long time to learn that. So
I
go
was
ahead.
stuck in it though. I knew that, but because, I was influenced by others, because I was out in California and I was isolated, I didn't have any family. I didn't nothing. So I'm just like thinking I needed to work on me because I was thinking there's something wrong with me the whole time.
But it wasn't.
No.
So now you went through about where you went through some depression. So tell us about that.
I probably was in a depressive state for a really long time and didn't realize it because of the environment that I was in. And so back in 2018, and it is so funny we are talking about this today because yesterday marks a 4-year anniversary for me when I thought that my life was coming to a crash.
Wow.
And so I'm thankful for entrepreneurship because that was the leverage to get me through that time. But while I was going through it, I realized that I was using it as a cover up because I had not dealt with everything I was going through. I mean, everyone left from around me. I was getting divorced. My best friend had moved to California. I mean, from California, my only friend there. I
Mm-hmm.
lost everybody around me because my family was his family.
Uh,
So I had nothing and was trying to build. I had just got into the non-for-profit world and got $1 million mentor, and my life was crashing down. I'm like, something's not adding. This not adding up. But I was being set up. But I didn't know that back then.
you were being set up for what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us what you were being set up
I
for,
was being
girl.
set up for the next level of my life, and that was in my pruning season. And I specifically remember God saying, keep your eyes on me and not what you're going through.
Mm.
And that was a long journey.
And you know that is the cognitive dissonance that you have to deal with, especially in entrepreneurship, because you see the end game, right? You see the end game, you see where you're going, and then you almost can't get there. Like you don't know that, it's almost like, I know that I'm going to get there. I know that God has promised this to me. I know that I am, he's going to do exceedingly abundantly but more than I could ask or think, but I don't see it right now, right? That cognitive dissonance.
Right.
And so after when you said that you felt like your life was coming to a crash, so tell us about that. When they left, your best friend left, you were getting a divorce, you had this $1 million mentor. Why did you start with the nonprofit?
Because that was the resources that were available to me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was hard in the cannabis world, like there was no one out there showing us how to do it. You had people who were in the black market of cannabis,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as the nursing culture, it
Mm-hmm.
was already that hard market. So I was looking for ways to tap in, and this mentor knew people in the cannabis realm. And he's like, oh no, let me help you. And it's so
Sweet.
funny when I was getting ready to, we had sat down initially with him, with my husband. And so we were doing all this negotiation, and I felt bad because I was like, oh, I'm getting ready to lose this mentor because it's no longer me and him, it's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting on the call with them, and they said, honey, you're the prize. Did you think it was him? And at that moment, I knew, okay, I don't have it in me. I don't feel that way, but others can see it. So I'm going to keep moving. There's something here. I don't know what it is exactly.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now tell me, out of how long has well, I get can't so explain all the differences, okay? Because we've got CBD, we've got cannabis, we've got marijuana. I mean, like,
Unfortunately, we have all these different terms because of the federal government
okay, so tell
and
us a little bit about that.
demonizing the word marijuana when it
Uh-huh.
really is all the same. Cannabis is a plant.
Okay.
Marijuana, and so we say there are two plants. We kind of think
Uh-huh.
of these like cousins, right? And you
Okay.
have the hemp plant
Uh-huh.
and the quote unquote marijuana plant. And both of
Uh-huh.
these fall under cannabis. Well, the hemp plant produces less than 0.3% THC. And that is what qualifies that under the hemp farm bill. So the CBD that you're seeing, the Delta 8s that you're seeing, all these other products that you're seeing that are legal come from this hemp plant. And
Gotcha.
so the medical marijuana programs and actual cannabis that's legal freely is coming from the marijuana plant. And that can
Uh,
have wider variations and levels of THC.
Sweet. Okay. Okay. So now, why did you decide to go into the CBD world. I mean, of all the things that you could have done, tell us why CBD.
It chose me. I ain't choose it.
Okay.
It was, I think, a couple of reasons. So of course I was surrounded by it, in my environment, all the time. And back then I didn't really understand it. I used to just think it was literally, oh, they're just recreational use,
Hmm.
whatever. But I worked in abdominal transplant for quite some time, and I was a coordinator. And so I had this one client who I saw evolve. He came in really sick and got out the hospital, and I saw him get so much better. And I'm thinking it was because he was so compliant, right? Because I'm so huge on patient advocacy.
Hmm.
So we do random drug screens. He had a drug screen that came back positive for marijuana. So I didn't second guess him. I hadn't even called him yet. I made sure I went to the team and advocated for him, because they can be put on hold on the wait list and go through some things that they have to prove. So I was advocating for him, like, he's never missed an appointment. He makes sure he gets all his testing done, like making sure I got it. And so I got the consensus from the team to leave him listed. So
Hmm.
I give him a call thinking I'm like, oh, I'm on his side, right?
Hmm.
And he said, Cierra, you could take me off whatever list you want to take me off of. But for the first time in my life, I am actually able to live. And while I
Wow.
wait around for a transplant I may never receive, I want to live now. And it was a slap in the face for me, because I thought at the time that I was advocating for him. So I was like, well, what does advocacy look like now? Right. So
Mm.
I had to know about this plant because I saw him get better fast too. So I had to know. And so I began my research now of cannabis, and I learned it backwards. I never knew, like, well, why could I smell a strain of marijuana and could tell you what the strain is? And by doing research in science, it's because of the terpenes and the fragrances that come from these flowers and this whole science behind this plant that they want to hide from us. Right.
Wow. Wow. That is interesting. That is super, super interesting. So as you went into I love, love, love that story. But as you went into entrepreneurship, you used to have a clubhouse all the time that talked about distractions. So tell us about your distractions that you had.
Those clubhouses were really just led and dropped in my spirit. They were always geared towards something that I had went through or others around me were going through, and things that we were talking about, like in our inner circles. And a lot of it came down to distractions. We are distracted by so many things, and being able to really break that down, because some distractions come to get you over.
Mhm. Mhm.
Others come to break you down, and you have to learn how to discern that. And so, again, it started from a conversation with my sister-in-law, who is like my business bestie in a way, and just us talking about these issues. And I'm like, if we're having this problem with all these side distractions and how to place them in their appropriate places, we know others are.
I love how you said that because, when you think about your friends, you think about placing them in certain spaces, right? You think about putting them in other places, but you never think about distractions and how you have to place them for sure.
Yes. I got a new clubhouse that's coming up, because just another level, like when it comes to my spirit, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And this next one is going to be talking about the danger of distraction. It's a danger game when you, especially being in entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
playing with your purpose. And if you're not careful, you're giving distractions will lead it to destruction of your purpose. Right.
That's
So
some good stuff. That's
yes,
some good stuff
okay.
right there. I love that. I
Ooh,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And it will. And it's seemingly good, right? It is seemingly good because what you will do, I have found that um, I have a coach. So I would say that I will always have a coach because you need a coach in order to be able to move forward, right?
Mhm.
And so I have a coach. And so some of the things that, he tells us to do, I will get distracted from what he tells us to do based off of, like, I'll go and I'll read this book, or I go and I'll do this thing. And it's all distractions. And so you have to be very clear of how to put, like you said, how to compartmentalize those distractions so those distractions don't take you off task.
Definitely, that information overload. I say that all the time. You have to discern what you hear and even what you have on Facebook. Sometimes I have to go on there and just silence people from my feed, not in any bad way, but when I'm in a season of my life where I'm trying to get to this next goal, I can't be worried about, well, what's going over here, so and so, and then this information. I don't need to worry about my business credit right now because I got this goal right here. It's going to distract me. So I tell people, put that in your boat, come back to it. And you have to stay on that straight and narrow, especially
I,
when you're hitting goals.
I love it, because when you talk about, putting people in Facebook, because I've had to do that too. I've had to unfollow people because, and, not that I don't want to be friends with them, right? But I've had to unfollow people because, they're talking about these politics and all of that stuff. And let me tell you something. And I want to tell the world that the politics is going to be the politics, and you need to vote. You need to be cognizant. You need to be aware, but you need to do your own research, right? And stop
Mm,
listening to people on Facebook who are giving you all this information that doesn't make sense, right? It's
yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. So I love that. I love that you have silenced people because I have silenced people too. I'm like, look, I don't care
Yeah,
whether
or
you're
they
the
going through a bad season and they're negative. I don't need that over here, you know?
let me tell you, I cannot.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
So I love it. So now tell us about, because you just opened a wellness spa in Atlanta, Georgia. So tell us about that. I'm so super excited about that.
Um, this was actually a goal from 2019. It's just the beginning of it. I have a vision for a whole holistic wellness center where people can come in and see all kind of different practitioners and things, and everyone is geared toward holistic services. And when I first began the journey to opening this wellness center, it wasn't going to be a medical spa at first, because all of my services incorporate CBD, medical cannabis, and there was nothing in the medical world at the time that I could offer. And so I used to remember doing those IVIG home infusions, done a lot of different things in nursing. And most of those clients were using some form of medical cannabis or were interested about it because those drips were very harsh for them. And I used to think back
What?
then,
Back up, because I don't know what you mean. Those strips were very hard for them. What does that mean?
those drips.
Drips. Okay, the
Drips.
drips.
Sorry. Yeah,
So,
the
and they,
IVIG therapy drips that they would get, would break their bodies down for a while. They couldn't work for 2 or 3 days because it's harsh. You got to take Benadryl, all this other stuff to get these therapies. And they still had symptoms and flares. A lot of it was like autoimmune type of things. And I used to think back then, I said, if I could just get CBD inside of their veins,
Mhm.
what kind of relief it would provide for them. And so I started my journey to opening my spa and found CBD IV hydration therapy. And I just about jumped out of my skin. And it went from just opening a wellness spa geared toward pain management and sexual health and weight loss to a medical spa now being able to incorporate CBD IV therapies and CBD IM shots to patients. It's the beginning of cannabis being accepted as a medical therapy. So
Sweet, sweet, sweet. And so whenever they get the tell us some of the advantages of CBD, because I don't know.
CBD is a super cannabinoid, as I like to say. It's just one of the parts of the plant. The
Okay.
cannabis plant has over 120 parts of it. And we
Okay.
only hear of a few of them. But CBD's superpower is its anti-inflammatory properties. That's why it works so well with pain. It works at a cellular level. Our bodies actually have receptors that accept CBD all throughout our bodies.
Hmm.
So that's why there's so many different elements it helps with, from um, just about every body system in your body. There are receptors for it that CBD can work on. So you can have a list of 40 different elements, and CBD and medical cannabis can help with all of that because our bodies know what to do with it. The benefits, typically it's fat soluble, so they're big molecules. So they've always been oil based, and so the absorption level is about between like 30 and 40%, give or give or take, of what you absorb. So if you have 100 milligrams of CBD or THC, you're really only getting about 40 milligrams, right? With water soluble CBD, the absorption is 99%.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And so you're actually able to get that. And now we're going in at a cellular level. We're getting to the veins. So it's full body wellness. It's hitting every aspect of your body. We're bypassing first pass when it comes to digestion.
What is bypassing first pass? What does that
Um,
mean?
so not having to go through the digestive tract for absorption.
Gotcha. The
And
CBD.
mhm.
Gotcha.
and so it is something that's really, really awesome here, especially in relief therapies, pain management.
Pain management, and that's relief therapies. So it helps with pain. What are some of the other advantages of it?
I got 99 problems, and CBD can help me solve about 97. Okay.
So give it a 97.
Anxiety, addiction, ADHD, autism, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Um, I could go on and on and on about in the healthcare world, and that's more under the medicinal side. But just even someone who doesn't know, a lot of it comes from anxiety, insomnia, and pain are the top three uses that we see, particularly in baby boomers and the elderly, because CBD doesn't give the euphoric effects, as we say, like THC
Man,
does.
gotcha, gotcha. And so it just helps you sleep. It decreases the inflammation,
It
and
helps to restore your cells. So if you're having damaged cells, it kind of stops whatever that process is,
uh-huh.
and then helps to begin to restore your cells as well. So cellular rejuvenation. That's why you see CBD skincare products and things like that now. There's so many properties that CBD just helps to elevate. That's why it comes down to whole body wellness when we begin to talk about medicinal cannabis.
So tell me, why do you think that it is such a stigma applied to CBD? Because CBD comes from the hemp plant, right? Not
Mhm.
from the
It
marijuana
can
plant.
come from both.
Okay, it can come from both. Gotcha.
Mhm.
But the particular part that you do is comes from the hemp plant. So why do you think it is so there's such a stigma behind it?
Because of how bad it was criminalized, right? And that is one of the roadblocks of why it is not become legal on a federal level. And I'm talking about just marijuana in general. You have to think of the stigma. They criminalized marijuana back in the 70s. And it's considered a Schedule One.
Mm.
A
So
Schedule
I'm gonna
One.
tell people what a Schedule One is.
A
So
Schedule
that
One is a highly addictive property inside of, we have these classifications of medications, right? And Schedule One is the highest schedule, highly addictive. And I can't remember, there's another terminology under that Schedule One. Harmful. I think it's harmful. It's classified as a Schedule One.
wow,
And cannabis has never been linked to a single death.
wow, that's true. That's
So
true.
we have this criminalization. You have to think about all these laws, all the people that they locked up, cannabis prohibition. So there's a lot of things that they have to go and undo
In the
before we can
mindset.
move forward.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I love it. Now, for your wellness spa, you offer weight loss services, wellness consultation, and massage techniques.
Yes.
Sweet. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. That's the overheads of it. There are many different things that fall under those categories. Um, I think one of the benefits of our medical wellness spa is that we are first nurse owned. And we have a collaborating physician, but we actually don't just come in and provide you with therapy. We educate you about medicinal cannabis if that is your interest. We give you a roadmap to wellness, right? Based on your needs, and we take a look at that, and we have years of experiencing and helping people find relief, and we have every modality as well. So that is one of the strong points of Relief Wellness Spa.
One of the things that I like about you, and another one of your counterparts who is teaching about cannabis, one of the things that for both of you, the thing that led you to this was a patient. It was a patient story. It was a patient. You didn't believe in it initially, right? And then all of a sudden, a patient came and a patient said, ah, this is good, and understanding how they deal with it. Phyllis is on. She says, good morning,
Good
Phyllis.
morning.
And so understanding that a patient led you here and you saw how a patient was affected by it, then you changed the way that you now practice as a result of that. And I think that that is key. That is key for all of us. Sometimes we just have to do our own research and figure it out.
Yeah. And for a while, what took me so long to figure it out, I feel, was that I feel like I had to it had to be my touch. I didn't want a cookie cutter business. I wanted something that had my mark on it, as I say, and still show my nursing properties. And I was still able to reach clients. And so when I was looking for someone to help me with that, I had someone that could help me with business, and I had someone that was nursing, but not cannabis. And I was like, how am I going to combine this? Like, where is this? So I had to create it, right? But it had to be patient focused. At the end of the day, I could educate all the corporations in the world, all the nurses in the world, but how am I getting to the client? And bringing that nurse expertise with it, because like you always say, we have a special subset that nobody else has. And I tell my mentees all the time, I don't care if you've been a cannabis nurse for 2 minutes. You have a special skill set that sets you apart. It's no different than when we get a new medication out here and we get the pamphlet and we got to go read about it because we got to go educate this patient on it. Why? Because we're skilled to do that.
That's right. That's right. And we are special. Nurses are, I mean, honestly, I believe that we're the foundation of medicine, period. The foundation. And so I love it. I love what you're doing. So can you tell us where to find you at? And this is the only, so nurse ran, or go ahead, tell us the
Oh,
distinction.
yes. So I have Relief Wellness Spa. We just actually launched on April 22nd. We are a mobile concierge spa right now. We are the only Black-owned medical spa here in Atlanta that offers customized wellness journeys incorporating CBD into every therapy and have their own brand of CBD products. Our CBD products are not brought in by outside. We don't sell other products in our spa, but our own. And so our actual building location will be located in the city of Stockbridge, which is about 20 minutes outside of Atlanta.
Okay.
And anticipated date is July 2022. So stay
Sweet.
tuned.
Super excited. Super excited. Hi, Veronica. Veronica said, I love this discussion. So,
Oh, hi, good morning.
yay. Good morning. So thank you, Sierra. So we have the Nurse Recharge Summit that's coming up. The next one will be September 17th. It will still be a virtual conference at that time. Details to come on that. We'll be learning how to recharge and how to transition into entrepreneurship. The reality is that we have a lot that's going on in the world. And when we think about, we think about the mass shootings that are going on. We think about the fact, and, not that I want to take away from the families, but what we have to do is we have to understand what those nurses are going through. Because when you take a child to the emergency department, you want to make sure that that child is taken care of. And when the child does not survive, okay, nurses suffer from secondary trauma syndrome. And as we are the foundation, we have to make sure that we are pouring back into these nurses. So again, if you are on and you are listening and you have a nurse in your life and you can purchase a ticket for them, or you're a nurse, then purchase a ticket. We will, details are to come. I ask that you like and share this podcast. Thanks, Sierra, for coming on. You are absolutely wonderful. I really, really love you dearly. Okay. And
Yeah.
so we will go ahead.
I was just going to piggyback. Yes, please take time to recharge and join in the next summit. I've just been talking with nurses at the bedside, and no one has taken time to grieve. We had a situation just the other day, and everyone had PTSD because we had to prone a patient. Right? It was like, oh, COVID. Everybody started doing this, and no one's taking that time. So recharging is so important.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Sierra. So you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day, and we'll talk to y'all later.